Andre, welcome to the show. Thanks a lot for joining me today.
Thank you for the invite, man. I appreciate.
No, it's my pleasure. So, as you know, every one of us has a kind of a career story that explains um, where you started, why you started the way you started it, what kind of like learnings you had throughout your experience. And given the amount of roles I've seen on your resume and LinkedIn profile, I'm sure you have a ton of learnings and a ton of reflection, and also like maybe some reasoning about like career choices you have made between running different companies, joining consultancy roles, playing a lot of product roles as a senior product, head of product, etc. So I would love to know more about your background and experience and how are you telling your basically career in a story?
I started my professional life as a management consultant about 22 years ago. But after 10 years, I started thinking I something was missing and I didn't know what. And then I started looking for something new. During this time, I joined a online agency as a project delivery director, I would say. And during this time, I discovered product management as a option, a career option. I decided to explore this, and one of my clients during this time at the agents hired me as their first product manager. So about 12 years ago, my product management career started, officially speaking, because I have done a few things before this date, the previous 2 years. I was doing product, but I didn't know it was product.
Okay.
When I learned about product management, oh, a lot of that thing that I was doing there was product. So officially 12 years. And eventually, about 5 years ago, I rejoined at the advertising space by joining Myriad as the head of product.
Okay. And you can you touch upon your entrepreneurship experience as well? I know you founded two companies in the past, or you were
Yeah,
part of the journey of two companies. Like, tell us more about this, please.
cool. So when I was working at this agency, uh, I started like a side project. I created with some friends a job board for internships in Brazil. And during this
Okay.
time, when we are trying to grow it, we discover, and this is like I didn't know that I was a PM at this time. So I was just doing for the pleasure of creating a job board. So,
Okay.
but the more I wanted to grow the business, right, and I started engaging with recruiters, we realized that the the problem wasn't the distribution of job descriptions, was how to manage it once they receive the applications. So this was the first time I faced a pivot, because we moved from a classified product, a job board, to a SaaS. So at this time, we moved from the job board to an applicant tracking system. This was my first interaction with a SaaS product,
Okay.
right? And then close to when the pandemic started, about a year before, with a different friend, I create a chatbot to help again job seekers. Right, we created some technology that eventually we moved from B2C to B2B, and then we start offering service to auto placement firms. So we create a platform that would ingest their clients' resumes, people that were paying for outplacement services, and matching them against all the openings that we were crawling from the Brazilian market.
Interesting. And I think most notably, after you moved to the UK, you had two. big brands where you joined, like Mimecast or Mimecast, I'm not sure whether I'm
Mime-
pronouncing it right, Mimecast, and also Oracle. Would you be able to recall some of your biggest achievements in each of the roles, or maybe explain a little bit about like which teams or what side of the business were you used to work on briefly?
with Mimecast, I was working with, I used to call, there was no official name, archive team. So they were responsible, when I got there, they were responsible to store mail sent and received by end users at the clients. And when I got there, I was assigned to a project to create mostly from scratch, um, a mailbox backup solution.
Okay. And what about Oracle?
Oracle, I was part. So Oracle is huge. So I was working for Oracle Advertising. Oracle Advertising is a business unit that was formed after 5 or 6 companies that Oracle acquired in the advertising space. I was kind of assigned to an area under Moat, which was one of the companies that they bought. And there I was working in the brand safety space. I would say the project that I had there was to introduce self-service approach tool to deliver a service, because the service that we had there was a managed service. Basically, clients were engaging with account managers to have their configuration done by those account managers. And the only thing that they had on a later stage was to follow the results by accessing an analytics tool. So the idea was to create this tool where our clients, or I mean, big brands or ages, could engage with our system and create the brand safety rules for different campaigns that they had.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks a lot for explaining that. You have been applying for jobs for quite some time now. A lot of us are actually in this world. Tell me more about like how long have you been applying for? How many jobs on average have you applied to? How many interviews? Like we will get into how you feel about it a little bit, but let's walk through the numbers and like the duration a bit to give the audience also an idea.
So officially, I was laid off from Oracle last May. I took a break, and
So May
I think
2023, right?
2023, yes.
Yep.
So I would say I started applying from June. In terms of numbers, I would say I didn't keep track of them, but
Okay.
what I have seen since May, June last year was that the conversion between application and this first call, for me at least, it dropped really big time. Big
Okay.
time.
And why do you believe the market has changed the way it has changed? So you say definitely it was so easy, or at least much easier for you to navigate the job market, move between jobs before May, June 2023. But over the past years, you have seen all the hurdles, and it has been almost like very, very hard, if not impossible, to land a job unless you spend like 6 months plus applying. Why do you believe this has happened?
I think number one reason is the number of layoffs. I think we have lots of good candidates seeking for new opportunities. I think, but at the same time, I think this kind of create the illusion in recruiters and maybe hiring managers as well that they have the unicorn they want, right? So in the past, when I started my PM career in ad tech, it was because I showed that I could transition well, right? So I didn't have experience as a PM. I had experience working for online agency. I had experience because I had some advertising ad tech integrations for my ATS product, and that was it. Right now, it has changed to something that they want someone with experience, sometime X amount of years in DSP, which is like a part of ad tech, right? The thing that I've seen is that in the past, if I had, or if we had like a job description with 10 requirement, I would check 6. If they read my history and say, okay, let's try this guy, let's go forward, let's invite him. Now, if you don't have 9 or 10, no conversation. So this for me is the unicorn hunting. I don't know. I think the mindset has changed. And the other things, like we don't have like honest feedback most of the time. So you have no idea, right? So when you apply and you add your salary expectation, the rejection is a template, and they say, "Oh, we have a really nice candidate." I don't know if it was the salary.
Okay. And can you recall your worst experience going through a job interview in the past year? Something that maybe have like lasted more than just applying for a job and receiving a template no response. Like you've been through a couple of calls, maybe like even a task sent and submitted, something like that. What was your worst experience?
For me, the worst part is when you are talking to a product leader that has no product management background. So it seems like the person is trying to replicate the success that he saw had running a different hat in a different company. He has no idea about the product management process, right? He understands that the product needs to work with engineering, okay, but he has no idea how these things works, how you deal with people, the relationship, the politics. So this for me is something that most of the time is not good, because they are more there thinking about only the outcome, but not considering the whole process to get there.
Okay. And like going back to your work experience, Andre, what do you believe are your superpowers? And mostly the superpowers that could be hard to be noticed via a resume check or a LinkedIn review. What are your superpowers as a product leader? If you can name like a few.
Superpower. I wouldn't say it's a superpower. I say that the way I think it, maybe I don't know if other people are like this, but I learned doing this while I was a consultant. I'm not only thinking about the problem that I'm looking, I always have like a broader vision of everything that's happening. I'm always trying to be connected with company strategy and not only product strategy. So I like to have the big picture before I deep dive on something really specific. I wouldn't say it's a superpower, but I think I do better by doing this. Also, maybe again, not a superpower, is a skill that I have. Is like I learned to see things from a process perspective. So not only from how I work or we work as a team, but also how the product will work or how it can be designed. And this is something that really helps me a lot. So I think those two are things that it's something that I would say the two top skills that I brought from my previous career to product management.
Okay. And how do you feel about spending 1 year to land a job? So you have been an entrepreneur in the past. You have been in the market for probably like 15 years plus. You had 12 of them with experience as a product manager, most recently at a big company like Oracle. Yet it took you till now a year to probably land the right job and the right fit. How do you feel about that? And also, how do you keep yourself motivated, sane? I'm sure this process is very hard, is very emotionally draining as well.
I think the consulting roles that I had, they helped me a lot because even not delivering products, I was delivering something. And this was good to fill out my day, right? I also have developed a few things that I can do as a non-engineer. So I have creating some websites where I'm trying to spread some knowledge that I have. But in general, if I was just looking for a job for 12 months, I think I would have gone crazy, because 12 months looking for a job is too much. But at the same time, I try to understand that the marketing is changing. I have read an article that saying the layoffs are still around. They happen at Google, Microsoft, Snap, Facebook. So I don't know if the market has come back to the good moments of the past. But for me, I think having those side jobs or smaller jobs helped me a lot.
And what would be your advice to recruiters or companies out there who are trying to find candidates with your profile, with your experience? Anything that you would share with them as an advice or a request?
My two requests would be related to my experience. The first one is try to avoid this unicorn hunting. I think one of the beautiful things that I found working as a PM, and something I would say that kept me here for so long, is the flexibility of move to different industries. So you have your process, how to approach problems. Of course, you will have your learning curve. It's a new company, maybe a new industry. You can relate things, you can learn things quickly, right? So close doors because of previous industry experience, for me, this is not 100% of the time necessary. Maybe 10% you really need some specific experience. The other, a PM can go to different industries. And the other thing that I would love to see, because I think the lack of this doesn't help us PMs at all, is the lack of honest feedback. So if I'm doing something wrong, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's a blind flight for me. Yeah, those would be the top priorities that I would love to see changing in the market.
Perfect. There is a question which we would like to ask every guest we have on the show. As you know, as part of what we are trying to do on the Unpopular is to come up with a hiring and interviewing manifesto that we can share with companies and with the whole industry, so that we can lift up the process of interviewing and hiring and make it more candidate centric, yet also like company efficient. Is there a principle that you can think of that we should include in this hiring manifesto, based on your experience applying for many jobs, going through numerous number of interviews over the past year? Would you like to see a specific principle in this manifesto?
Yeah, I would love to see them prioritize candidates' potential for growth. Right? So I think this is something that somehow connects to what we were discussing about the previous experience, but also shows that the company is willing to find someone that can change or can adapt to any changes that the company will face in the future. Right? So it seems like they are trying to hire someone for a company that will be the same way they are today for the next 5 years. So they don't have the right human resources that will embrace change and will know how to adapt, because they are bringing like something or someone that is already molded for the current situation. So if you don't have this flexibility while trying to find the next best candidate, how the company will deal with the uncertainty from the future.
Perfect. That's clear. We will definitely consider this among our process. Andre, I really enjoyed the conversation today. I want to thank you for all the time and the wisdom shared with the whole audience, and wish you all the best of luck in your process, and hopefully we can celebrate all together. You will find the right job at the right time for the right company. So yeah, thank you.